Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today we're going to be reviewing the mobile version of RuneScape. But to clarify, I am not reviewing a full overview of RuneScape as a game, and we're specifically talking about Oldschool RuneScape. We are going to be talking about the physical interaction that I, as a player, had with my two devices. I'm going to be using footage from my Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, as well as my NVIDIA Shield tablet. So if you guys want to go see those specs, those form factors, then you'll see that, well, my experience and how it lines up with yours is either accurate or inaccurate. But overall, since these two devices have very different screen sizes and feels, I think I have a pretty wide range of an experience to tell you that it's probably going to work on most devices. It's probably going to run good. It's probably going to look good if you can stand the art style and stand the gameplay. But it's like, for what it is, it's genuinely, I'm just going to come out, flat out say it, spoiler alert, dudes, it's actually better than the desktop version. Of course, if you're using like RuneLite or some other outside kind of, launcher for RuneScape or client, then, that's debatable for sure. But I'm just saying, like, the bare bones Jagex launcher versus the mobile game, like the mobile UI is just better. Now, there are going to be some things like not too much customization with the UI, which the desktop version doesn't have anyways, but it's like really clear to see the screen. Everything is formatted very well. I think some reviews said that it's overall finicky, but that's just RuneScape. It's a clicky game. You click to do everything in the game. Menus are going to be like how you play the game. Very click intensive, yes. But it's a slower paced game. It's more focused on the macro, not the micro intensivity. It's more focused on preparation, of your inventory, managing your menus, things like that. It's more about going into an encounter, you already know you can win it, pretty much, not actually fighting it Dark Souls style or Terra style. No, RuneScape is not that. You are going to be rolling dice, hitting zeros and ones. You're going to be standstill combat. It's tick-based, very slow-paced game, essentially turn-based, that, focuses also on clicking. So for mobile devices, that works out amazing. For me, I thought it was a little bit distasteful that the desktop version didn't have many improvements. We had to use outside clients, but the mobile version just sweetly surprised me. I did not expect it, because honestly, they could have just one-to-one ported the game, and it would have been, just fine. The UI changes made a world of difference, actually, and I'm having more fun with RuneScape than ever before. Of course, I can always keep it in my pocket. I can, turn it on, turn it off. And oh, by the way, a lot of games take a while to launch, take a while to turn off, and there's a lot of awkwardness with loading certain things. But with my two devices, while one is a gaming tablet and one is a modern smartphone, which can game very well as well, I genuinely think that this is not too heavy of a game, despite it being an MMO, because of what you could dare say are shortcomings of the desktop version. It's an older game. It's very slow tick rate, basically turn-based. And, you click to do everything, but that works so perfectly with mobile. It shouldn't use too much data. More games use more data, despite not even being MMOs proper. More games will heat up your phone intensively and drain more battery. So this, yes, it's going to drain battery. It's a freaking MMO. You're playing a 3D game as well. And you do have full control of your, full-ish control of your camera, zoom in, zoom out. It's all very intuitive. You are constantly loading new areas, which is a big open world. Yes, that's going to be happening. But overall, because of its age, because of many reasons you could critically fault the game, it's actually so freaking perfect for modern mobile gaming. It's just ridiculous. Of course, that's been my bias. Of course, I got my nostalgia goggles on, but I got my critic classics on as well. I like to be harsh with games, and RuneScape, Oldschool RuneScape definitely has some faults. I'm not here to review the gameplay too much, just how it, results with mobile gaming. But like, I don't know about you, but AFK farming isn't always genuinely engaging. Like, it's literally not engaging. You aren't engaging the game because it's AFK. But for what RuneScape is, if you do like that feeling of progression and, playing the economy, as well as maybe some risk and reward, because, AFK farming can actually be kind of intensive whenever you're in a PvP area. But for the most part, RuneScape is more or less like a theme park or theme box, or like a sand park. I don't know. It's kind of a mix of, theme park and sandbox, but like, genuinely, it's very safe-ish. You can die. I have died already, and I'm an experienced RuneScape player. But, it's still going to be a game that it's going to feel like other mobile games, which, that's why I've always said it should be a mobile MMO, and it is, and it's a great mobile MMO. But if we're comparing it to other big boys, depending on where you're coming from, if you're a Blade and Soul player, if you're a Guild Wars 2 player, this game is a different kind of game. You gamify this MMO in very different ways. So if you're looking for a fishing minigame, if you're looking for some sort of crazy challenge or aim-based mechanics with logging, no, that's not happening. Combat, you're just standing still. But I promise you, there is genuine gameplay and intrigue in this title if you pursue it. So how can you enjoy this game as a mobile game, even if you love Dark Souls and Monster Hunter, you love games like that? How can you get into RuneScape? And I'm gonna help you because I am actually that kind of player. So the way I sort of mentally gymnastic this shit is basically I look at RuneScape as if it's a gameable diorama. And a few other games use a diorama art style that I've really enjoyed, but RuneScape is the main one that, you can look at it and say, well, it has a really small field of view, which actually the mobile zooms way the fuck out, which is amazing, and you can zoom really hard in. But overall, like, it doesn't load a lot of the map at one time, which is good for mobile, again. But it actually kind of adds to the charm in the art style. The whole game is based on this idea that you can move around the camera, but it's kind of this diorama, isometric look that kind of should be applauded. Yes, it looks a lot like shitty Play-Doh, but it genuinely, there is something here. There is a flavor and taste that frankly you're not going to get in other games. Have you ever looked at like a newspaper comic, or hey, maybe like a modern manga like One Punch Man? Sometimes the art can be really sloppy and cheesy and silly, but sometimes that actually adds something to it. It's very strange, but RuneScape, for what it is, it runs great on mobile devices, that's for sure, but like as a piece of art, it's actually really good. Now the music is another aspect that I could talk about where, no, it's like not actually an orchestra. You can go to the RuneScape's YouTube channel and listen to orchestral covers of their music, but the notation, it just holds itself up enough. And yeah, it's lower bit, right? It's lower quality, technically, audio, but it's still kind of charming. I mean, even to a point, I did a video talking about chiptune, and right now lo-fi is such a big genre, and it's literally low fidelity. So RuneScape on phones, headphones or otherwise, generally the speakers aren't too intensive, not too high quality games, and of course you're playing online. It all just really works together, and yes, I'm a little bit nostalgic, but honestly, RuneScape music is great. Kind of similar to the art style, it doesn't take itself seriously, and because of that, it adds a flavor that you just don't get in other MMO, other games that are often, a little bit more hardcore in a sense, artistically, like Elder Scrolls. I mean, I know World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 are very cartoon, but still, they take themselves a little bit more epically. They're like, they are the definition of epic, where I guess RuneScape is more like, yeah, adventure, questing, woo! It's that sort of self-aware, fourth wall breaking sort of mentality that if you have that as well, you're gonna have so much fun with RuneScape. Another reason why I really like playing it on mobile is, many like you read books or, comics. I read a lot of manga on my tablet and phone, and that's kind of what's going on with RuneScape with me. I'm running through the quests, I'm absorbing the world, and I'm playing it as if it's a playable and livable comic book. And it's genuinely awesome. Every time I review RuneScape, the first and last thing I always mention is questing. Generally that's the meat and taters. So I'm not gonna go too far on this, but basically just know that the quests are self-aware. The dialogue is hilarious. I think it's hilarious, okay? It's genuinely good. Sometimes it's light, sometimes the quest will focus more on mechanics, sometimes the quest can get a little bit more serious and mechanically in-depth, and maybe you might even need to look up a guide. Like, genuinely the puzzles and the intrigue in some of this stuff is pretty decent. But overall, it's like a comic book. It's silly, it's fun. Yeah, it doesn't take itself as epically as other games, but it's questing, and it truly is adventure. And the quests in RuneScape are genuinely, in my opinion, hands down, the best, most exemplary, and the pinnacle of questing in online RPG, period. And it's an MMO, and yes, you are gonna have social, actual quests that may or may not require other players to help you out, or really boost up and help you out. Had a lot of fun with this game in terms of its slow-paced gameplay. The questing, reading the quest text, sure, learning about the characters, actually absorbing the world, and kind of really trying to puzzle out these puzzles. Learning that, it's been a lot of fun. You can also enjoy the game as a skilling game, as a grinding game. Personally, that's not for me, but I will say this. The quests actually can kind of slingshot you through that sort of gameplay, so you don't have to just sit there and grind and, play the economy. There's a couple of different ways you can play this game, and luckily, all of those ways of play are perfectly playable and enjoyable on mobile devices. Now, there might be some debate if PvP is viable on the mobile device, but I will say that surprisingly, and I am playing with a smaller form factor tablet as well as a smaller phone, but having 2 thumbs, having 2 points of clicking, has actually made the game a lot more fun, actually. And overall, I'm just so much more enjoying being able to go out on my hammocks, going out, maybe sit by the pool, or just lay on the couch, just chillax, or maybe have it up while I'm on my desktop, playing some other game or doing something else, and playing RuneScape. I genuinely am more happy with this experience than I was with the desktop. Overall, it's running good, it's playing good, and it's still the old, good, same classic RuneScape that perfectly lends itself to mobile gameplay. That's pretty much all I can say, guys. It's all good and fun, and I think it's only going to get better from here. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more RuneScape gameplay, I'm going to be trying to stream it and play it and cover it, absolutely, because this is one of the best MMOs ever of all time, and still running and still contending for like a top 5 spot, absolutely. So, thanks for watching that, guys. I'm playing more action RPGs, and MMORPGs. You better believe it, boys! We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. So if you guys want to see this gameplay, give me the time and effort, make it worthwhile so that I can actually do more reviews, well, that's what the Patreon's for. And thanks for the donations and everything and the support with this channel. I want to keep playing more and really put the games back in Skylent games. Let's get some gameplay up in here, boys. So that's my review, Mobile RuneScape. What do you guys think of the game? And also, just a final end cap. It is free. You can actually download it and play for free, and the free-to-play version of RuneScape is still genuinely fun. It's engrossing. Just get past the speed bumps, which I think on mobile, you'll have an easier time forgiving. Abso-freaking-lutely. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Skylent, and I keep the hype alive. And I'll see you again next time.